Welcome to part 6 of our data migration series. In this final tutorial, I'll show you how to import transaction records, such as checks, debits, transfers, and direct entries, using the correct transaction import view. Follow along by visiting our website's tutorial section for a link to the sample files used in this tutorial. Before importing transactions, make sure vendors are imported into accounts payable, finance accounts are imported, your chart of accounts is complete, payable schedules are set up. Correct automatically highlights any vendor names that don't match. You can ignore those rows, remove them, or create new vendor records as needed. The transaction import view supports single row and multiple rows per record formats. Most imports use multiple rows per record, so one transaction may span several lines in the source file. You can import mixed transaction types in a single file, but it's often best to import one type at a time. Rows can be sorted and removed without affecting the original file. Start by entering 3 in the Skip Lines field, select the binoculars icon, choose Open CSV XLS file, and navigate to select Transactions Multi-Rows XLSX. In this file, each transaction begins with a designator such as check, debit, transfer, direct entry. Select the column containing these designators, then select the values you want to import. For example, check and debit. Be careful. Some columns may contain values that aren't designators. Only select valid ones. Designators are processed in this order: check, debit, transfer, direct entry. If a check or debit is missing a vendor, it may fall back and be treated as a direct entry. To avoid that behavior, simply leave the direct entry designator unselected. Next, pair the voucher attributes. Vendor name must match an existing vendor. Amount. Choose the itemized amount, not totals. Date. Select the transaction date. Check number, optional. Note, optional. Often includes expense labels or details. You can right-click a highlighted vendor row to create vendor record, or create vendor records for all. Select the column that identifies the finance account used by the transaction. If the column contains unrelated values, Correct automatically ignores invalid entries. Next, pair expenses to accounts payable schedules. Choose the column containing expense types. In this example, both finance account names and expense names appear in a single account column. Select an expense name from the drop-down on the right, then choose the payable schedule on the left. If you're importing direct entry transactions, you may need to create new schedules first. Select the Create icon to generate records. 2 tabs appear. Accepted, valid transactions are listed. Rejected, transactions that are missing required information are listed. Right-click a rejected transaction to view the rejection notice or convert it to a direct entry when appropriate. Review the created transactions in the left panel, then select Save to finalize the import. Very important, before importing additional files, always select Erase to clear the current import list. For files where each transaction is contained on a single line, set skip lines to 0. Load the file transactions single row CSV. Select single row per record. Pairing works the same, with these differences. All rows are treated as the same transaction type, so remove any mixed types. Finance account pairing is limited to 1 account per import. Voucher pairing and expense pairing work exactly as before. Select the Create icon to create the transactions. Transactions show on the left for your review in the accepted and rejected records lists. Select Save. That completes our data migration series. You now know how to import customers, vendors, chart of accounts, finance accounts, invoices, and transactions. Thanks for following along, and welcome to Correct.